I met with a couple yesterday, awesome people, Levi and Izzy. I have the privilege of performing their wedding ceremony in a little over a week. And in getting to know them and hearing their story, it was a great conversation. And one of the things that I talked about with them, which is what I talk about with every married couple to be, is the spiritual formation opportunity that happens in your relationship as husband and wife. Because this is your closest human relationship, at least it's supposed to be. And in that, you find that all of the parts about you that are not as great as you thought, the things that need refining, those come to the surface in these relationships. That's why my wife knows all the stuff about me better than anybody else. And it's kind of scary. She can actually read even from my body language, like, oh, what's going on, Adam? What's this? What's that? And we'll call each other out. Like it goes both ways, right? And we have the kind of relationship where we can do that. It's not easy. It's not always fun, but man, is it good. And God uses my wife, and I get to be used by God in her life for spiritual formation. We become more like Jesus as a result. Now let's take that up a notch. And I talked to the happy couple, the married couple to be about this too. If and when they have kids, I said, you're going to find that your children will be a key part of your spiritual formation. And then I looked specifically at Levi. I said, if you're going to be a dad, you will find that you will learn more about the love and the faithfulness, the patience, and the grace of God as you're parenting your child than you will in any other way. There are lessons that are only learned through parenthood. And it's not that everybody is meant to be a dad or a mom for that matter. There are some among us who do not have that destiny in their lives, and that's perfectly okay. There is actually something great about singleness, frankly. One of the great things is that you're not encumbered, honestly. There are things that you're able to do that us married folks aren't able to do. It's not that I'm jealous of that, but I'm just saying, like, there's some sweetness to that too. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about dads as servants. Now, listen to this word from Philippians chapter 2. This is verse 3 and 4. This is the New Living Translation. Paul writes, don't be selfish, okay? Don't try to impress others, all right? Be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Don't look out for only your own interests, but take an interest in others too. That's the word of the Lord. Okay, a couple things. One, selfishness is built into every human being, dads, moms, etc. But there's something in our culture, especially for dads, that pushes men to use how others are impressed as a test on how they're doing. Looksmaxxing, whatever maxing, even faith maxing. Like we want to be the strongest, we want to look the best, we want to be chiseled, we want to have the right disciplines. We want to have the right spiritual formation. We want to have the right attitude. We want to have the right alpha male or whatever. Like there are all these things, especially in social media, that are pushing men to become a version of a father or husband that has nothing to do with Jesus. Jesus is the humble servant. He's the one who came to serve all. So when Paul says don't be selfish, you could think of him as talking to dads like me and maybe you. Don't try to impress others. Again, it's like that's not the litmus test. Our job is not to impress others. It's to honor God and make sure that he's pleased with our lives. He says, be humble, thinking of others as better than yourselves. Now, you see how this starts to push into our built-in selfish nature. And there is something to be said about your wife and your children being prioritized even over yourself. That's very, very, very important. That is the call of Scripture. However, there's that second verse, verse 4. Don't look out only for your own interests, but take an interest in others too. So there is something to be said, dads, even to be the servant that God has called you to have some sort of a regimen for self-care. You've got to make sure that your soul and your mind and your body are in the right shape, not so that we can impress others, but so that we can properly serve our families. Everything that we do to maximize ourselves, to take care of ourselves, is always meant to be for the sake of others. There's nothing Jesus did for himself. He didn't come to earth because he was bored with heaven. He didn't go on the cross to see what that was like. He didn't go to the tomb and then rise again just to prove a point. No, he does all of this for the sake of others. And so the heart of a dad as a servant is to serve our kids, to serve our wives with that same self-sacrificial humility, and to even take care of ourselves, which is important, but to do that for God's glory and for the sake of the other. This is what makes being a dad so difficult. There's a heavy load on our shoulders, and yet this load is carryable by Jesus, the Messiah, who says, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So dads, man, I appreciate you. I'm proud of you. Let's keep dadding and husbanding together, but let's do it with the heart of Christ. That's RadCast.